All right, KJ. So you're filling in for Jinx, but I have
Yep.
noticed something when you fill in on this show. You are
Okay.
never scared to go
Never
for some
scared.
plus money on your best
Yeah.
bet. So I salute you, sir, for going for the
Yeah.
plus
Scared
money
money
as
don't
opposed
make
to.
none. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. It's really easy to come on here and pick something that's minus 250 and be like, oh, I'm the smartest man alive. I picked
Right.
the Dodgers to win as minus 250 favorites. Anybody can do that, which it's
Right.
actually harder than you think, but still. So I salute you, sir, for taking a big swing. So let's take a look at your plays. Since you are the guest on the show, we'll let you bat lead off. Who is your favorite play on today's slate?
Braves first five minus one and a half, minus a half at plus 115. So yesterday, if you thought the Shadows would play the game, that would be later in the game because the game starts at 1. Today, the game starts at the 4 o'clock hour. So the 4 o'clock hour, 5 o'clock hour, 6 o'clock hour, maybe early into 7 o'clock, you may see Shadows. So it's going to be a low scoring game. It's probably going to be maybe 1-0, maybe 2-0 Braves early on in the game, or it could be more than that. But I in the first five, I believe the Braves jump on top because they'll have the advantage of being at home, and their opponent will be in the shadows during those first 5 innings. So I like the Braves to kind of jump on, get that early lead, which is another play I have. Get just because they're really the ones that finished on the run in yesterday's game. I think their run continues, and they'll be they'll have at least a 1-run lead after 5 innings in it. Plus money, I like that right there.
Well, KJ, we're going to be going head to head because I'm going to be on the other
Dun, dun,
side
dun.
in one of my bets. But my best bet for the day is squarely focusing in on the strikeouts for Philadelphia starter Zach Wheeler. His number is set at 5.5 right now for plus money. It's plus 110. So I think you look at that first, and it's the value play when you see plus money on a 5.5 for Zach Wheeler. He's hit this in 6 straight starts against Atlanta. And I get it. It's the postseason. It's a little different. We saw that with Max Fried, who had great numbers against the Phillies, but got absolutely rocked. But I think the hotter lineup right now is probably the Phillies.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Braves, they are a great hitting lineup, but they also strike out a ton. They came into the postseason striking out the third most of any team in baseball for the entirety of the season. And if you look at yesterday, they struck out 12 times as a team during that game. Yesterday's starter, Ranger Suarez, hit his strikeout prop of 3.5 pretty easily, had 5 strikeouts on the day. So I think Zach Wheeler gets this here. And plus, if you look at some of the guys who really struggle against Zach Wheeler, I think Dansby Swanson could be good for a couple strikeouts in this one. He has
Yeah.
13 strikeouts in 37 at bats against Zach Wheeler. So I'm going to go Zach Wheeler over 5.5 strikeouts for plus 110 as my best bet.
So both can be true, right? Like Zach Wheeler can get he can hit his prop, and the Braves
Right.
still be up 1-0 at the top of the sixth. So yeah, while we're going head to head, it's like a friendly head to head here, where you're on the Philly
Well,
side. I believe the Braves.
KJ,
Uh-oh.
my best bet is on a strikeout prop, but I also have another play on the
Oh,
Phillies.
here we
Before we get to
go.
that, on this show, we always ask our trusted source, the Magic 8 Ball, if he likes or hates our plays.
Crap. Magic 8 Ball.
That's right. It's time to ask the Magic 8 Ball his thoughts. So let's start with KJ's. Do we like the Braves minus a half in the first 5 against the Phillies? 8 Ball says, without a doubt.
There you go. I was getting ready to call the 8 Ball some names, like two-faced circles. He's two-faced. He's a circle
Oh
on the
my
top and the
God.
bottom. Can't trust him. But yeah, he's absolutely right.
All right. So Zach Wheeler over strikeout prop of 5.5. 8 Ball, do we like it? Cannot predict now. Well, this is a live show. So what do we think,
Uh-oh.
8 Ball? Tell us how you really feel. It is decidedly so.
It knows who it feeds. It knows its owner. Come on, are you not the parent of the Magic 8 Ball?
Well, I mean, not biologically, but yes, I feed
I
it,
would
I
hope not.
clothe
If
it,
that's
I
the
give it a
case,
spot
you
on my
understand?
desk.
Yeah.
So I guess you could
So
say that.
you provided a home and not a trash can. It's never going to go against you. Piff.
Well, he's also a steadfast member on this show. If you ever want to watch the show and watch me do my thing with the 8 ball in a very clean PG way, I know that sounded kind of bad. Go to twitch.tv/BetQL and you can see us and all of our smiling faces and the 8 ball and his little opening where he tells us if he likes our plays. All right, so let's go into our other bets. KJ, for me, I'm going against you. So I think the good thing is at least one of us will win our play because I'm going to be on the Phillies in the first 5 on the money line at even money. I think this is more of a feel play. And the fact that I think Zach Wheeler is going to be the better pitcher in this matchup because I think going into yesterday's game, you could make a strong case for Max Fried being the better pitcher against the Phillies going against Ranger Suarez. But the deciding factor for me is the Phillies bats. They have come in hot to this one, and they've come in hot for most of the season. One of the better hitting lineups in all of baseball. And plus, looking at the matchups, Bryce Harper has good numbers against Kyle Wright with a home run. And also, we have some other guys that have really good stats against Kyle Wright as well. Austin Riley, 8 of 30 with a home run against, or excuse me, that's the wrong side. JT Realmuto, 2 of 9 with 2 home runs against Kyle Wright. So I think this is me just backing the hotter bats in this one. And plus, Zach Wheeler, I think, is the better pitcher in this matchup. Quality starts in each of his starts against Atlanta this season. So, KJ, we're going head to head. It's a showdown.
Yeah, it's a showdown because, look, the game was 7-6. So the Atlanta bats ended hot. I think they continue. Remember, the Phillies got all those runs really kind of grouped together early in the game, while as the game proceeded on, Atlanta's bats got hotter, just not hot enough to get 8 runs. So I think it continues, and that's why my additional play is, do I do the Braves score first at plus 105. So look, I think that the Braves are going to continue and pick up where they left off at the end of yesterday's game into the beginning of today's game. While the Phillies, I'm not saying that they're going to be shut down, but it's going to be a much lower scoring game. And you hear me talk about the shadows that the Phillies, while they might get runs, it may be later, but I think the Braves start off with the lead and would eventually win the game.
All right, so KJ, we only have a couple minutes left, but I think you have an NHL play for us too.
The Carolina Hurricanes full game total minus 1.5 against the Columbus Blue Jackets at home plus 110. I mean, Carolina, that crowd is absolutely bananas. And I think it feeds into the team. They play totally different on the road than when they're at home. When they're at home, it's almost like they use their power up in a video game. So for them to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets, who were okay towards the end of last year, but were pretty much horrible for the most part of last year, I can definitely see them winning. I can see the Hurricanes winning this by 2 goals or more for sure.
I'm very interested to see the NHL in the start of the season because I'm not a hockey person, but if there's a trend that's profitable, I will be betting on that with you. Speaking of trends and speaking of profitable, BetQL hopes that their play today is a profitable one. Their 5-star best bet of the day is the Phillies Braves over 7, which I personally think is probably a good choice given the way that these bullpens have handled themselves in game 1 of the series. And for inside analysis, historical trends, and more 5-star best bets, download the BetQL app today. Well, it's been a great show. Thank you for joining us. Up next on BetQL Daily, the crew gives their power rankings in the NFL.